Overnight Millionaire, Chapter 5. It was now mid-month, and Anthony, in a suit, was nervously conducting an important meeting in the conference room. However, when he received Julia's call, his face suddenly changed dramatically, and his mood became excited. He spoke into the phone, arranged the highest level of hospitality. "I'll come down personally to greet him immediately." After hanging up the phone, Anthony's excitement grew, and he immediately addressed the people in the conference room. "The meeting is postponed. I have something important to do right now." Leaving these words behind, Anthony ignored the astonished expressions of the others, stood up instantly from his seat, and left the conference room. While briskly walking, he also took the time to adjust his clothes and appearance, as if he was going to meet a very important VIP. His subordinates, witnessing Boss Jones behave in such a way, were astounded because, in their usual impression, Anthony always had a cold expression. They had never seen him so excited and nervous. Curiosity and speculation arose about the person Anthony was about to meet. Meanwhile, at the entrance of the Power Building, after hanging up the phone, Julia also had a shocked expression. Boss Jones actually asked her to arrange the highest level of protocol to greet this unremarkable William. It was beyond her expectations. The young security guard, thinking that he had finally exposed William's identity, pointed at him smugly and said, "Your identity has been revealed. How could you be Boss Jones' esteemed guest? Go back and deliver packages. Get lost, you're fired." Julia suddenly shouted loudly, "Why am I fired?" The young security guard was dumbfounded. At this point, when the young security guard looked at William again, he was so shocked that he couldn't utter a word, while the slightly older security guard secretly breathed a sigh of relief. William didn't even bother to look at the young security guard. Being fired was entirely self-inflicted for someone like him. "Sir, please come inside. Boss Jones will come to personally escort you shortly." Julia suddenly lowered her stature, hoping to please Boss Jones by doing so. As planned, Julia greeted him with the highest level of protocol. Since she had been following Anthony, less than 10 important figures had been received in this manner. They were all influential and powerful individuals who she could not afford to offend. This clearly indicated that William was also someone she couldn't afford to offend. The two security guards were once again amazed by Julia's respectful attitude towards William. The shock grew even greater when they heard that Boss Jones was coming down to personally greet him. In their 5 years of working here, they had rarely seen Boss Jones personally greet someone, let alone someone as unremarkable as this young man. It was evident that his status was not simple. William couldn't be bothered with them and followed Julia straight into the building. She led William into the VIP reception on the first floor, a place specifically reserved for important guests. The interior was lavishly decorated, and only individuals with absolute superior identities were allowed inside. Just as they entered, a good-looking receptionist in a black skirt suit approached them to offer assistance, but Julia waved her off. "You go and attend to your tasks. I've got this." The receptionist was puzzled. Who was this person that made the director of human resources personally attend to them? Before she could comprehend the situation, the general manager, Anthony, rushed over panting. Judging from his appearance, he was obviously afraid that the guests in the VIP room were getting impatient. This was the first time the receptionist had witnessed someone make Boss Jones exert so much effort to meet them since she started working here. What kind of distinguished guest is here today that Boss Jones personally rushed over? She wondered. William wasn't paying attention to these details. He had just taken a sip of the tea specially brewed by Julia when Anthony, still panting, knocked on the door and entered. Upon seeing William, he immediately approached warmly, extending his hands and firmly grasping William's. "Sir, I have been eagerly anticipating your arrival." Julia was astonished by Anthony's excessive friendliness. She was used to Boss Jones being exceptionally cold and stern, but to see him so humble in front of William completely surprised her. Anthony seemed to realize his slip-up and quickly straightened himself. swiftly reverting to his stern demeanor. He instructed Julia, "Leave it to me. You go to my office and bring the Lafite that has been stored for many years." "All right." Julia was shocked once again. This Lafite was a treasured bottle of wine that Boss Jones had been unwilling to drink over the years. He hadn't even offered it to Mr. Parker, the former mayor of New York, when he visited. But now, he was willing to offer it to this seemingly insignificant bastard, reaffirming that William was definitely someone she couldn't afford to offend. Julia suddenly breathed a sigh of relief, thankful that she hadn't treated William rudely earlier. Otherwise, she would have had a miserable day today. Click subscribe to unlock more interesting plots.